Hello, everybody, and welcome to Popping the Popcorn. I'm your host, Katie, and today I'm welcoming back my good friend, Jay. Jay, how you doing today?
Aloha, Katie. I am fantastic. It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you, too. It's been a while.
It has. And, I got to say thank you for waiting a whole week and then another half hour on top of it. We meant to do this like a week ago a couple times, and I kept putting it off because of my work. And then I was late because of dinner tonight. So thank you, Katie, for waiting for me.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm a very patient person, as most people in my personal life would know that I'm actually a very patient and understanding person. So, today's episode, we will be talking about Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone, some people say Sorcerer's Stone, some people say Philosopher's Stone, because that's what the book was originally named, was the Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So, we're going to be talking about the movie, and we'll be talking about the book today. So, what are some of your favorite characters or people just in the movie that they didn't put in the book?
Okay, I have to be honest. I've gone full Memento. I read this book 6 weeks ago, and then I made the mistake of reading Helter Skelter after that. So, I have notes.
It's all good.
I have notes. No, I will say in the book, my favorite character definitely comes down to Hermione and Snape. And with Snape, it's because I know what's coming later on. Because this is the first time I read the book.
Okay.
So knowing what I know, I'm kind of watching him for those little things he does to safeguard Harry. And with Hermione, it's a couple things. But there's that scene with the troll, and it actually changes her as a character. And she opens herself up to people and is less defensive. And it was just very cool to have that moment make a huge character change.
Yeah, I thought Hermione was yes, she's a know-it-all and she's really smart, but I like how her character became, like, even as the first book, she's just getting to know Ron and Harry, and then how she interacts with them, and how they, and how with the troll scene, she just basically becomes like a powerful woman almost in the wizarding world.
Yeah. Oh no, my other page of notes is over there. Dang.
Sorry.
1 second. Sorry.
No problem. It happens. No problem. And I also, one of my favorite characters, he's in the book, he's not in the movie, and I wish they would have put him in the movie.
I'm so sorry. I just had, the fumbles. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm usually so much more prepared to this.
No problem. So one of my favorite characters, he's in the books, like I was telling them. He's in the books, but he's not in the movie, is I really like Peeves the ghost. I think he's just a really cool ghost because he's always playing tricks on people and stuff like that. I think that's really cool. And I know the Bloody Baron doesn't really like him and stuff like that, but I really just like him as a character because he just brings that fun element into the book.
Yeah, and I thought he was like a spirit of mischief, so they really missed out by not having even just a couple of appearances on screen in the movie would have been great.
Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, they did put Sir Nicholas and the Bloody Baron in there, and Helena, is that her name? Or Helena's ghost or whatever. But I thought it would have been cool if they put Peeves in there just to mess with Harry Potter a little bit like he does in the books. I thought that would have been cool.
Yeah, and I wonder if they cut him out for time or just because Harry has just had enough people at this point pile on him. One more is just going to seem mean.
Right. Also, one of my favorite characters is Snape. Snape's one of my favorite characters because he's just a very complex character.
Yeah.
And I just like him just because as the books go or the movie goes, you see him more not mean to Harry, more like a friend or type of frenemy or type of thing or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and that's because I watched the movies first and came in, and I'm coming into the books for the first time. It's made a difference in how I see Snape because I'm watching as I read for little clues that may have been there all along to his protecting Harry. Like why he had to be the professor for the dark arts. That was to defend Harry, to teach him to defend himself.
Right, exactly. And I know Snape actually wanted to be the defense against the dark arts teacher, but he's also really good at potions as well. But you find out later on that he actually eventually becomes defense against dark arts teacher, but that's like later on.
And it's funny because when I read the book, I tried so hard not to have the image of the actors or the film locations in my mind. I tried to come into it fresh.
Right.
But every time I read Snape, I heard and saw Alan Rickman in my mind. I couldn't swap it out. Like he's so that part.
Right. He's the one that made that part, I think, in my opinion. Like when I read the books, they came out and I think 1997 was the first book, I think. So I was about like 13, 14 when those books came out. So I had like my own like characters like out of the books. I had like my own like theory who would play, what actor would play who and stuff like that. So so now since I've seen the movie, I always think of Alan Rickman as Snape.
Yeah. I can't picture anybody else ever playing that part.
I can't either. He's just such a good good part. I also like the dad, the Weasley dad. He's so funny. He cracks me up. He works for the Ministry of Magic, but he cracks me up because he works for like human artifacts or something. Yeah. And he just cracks me up.
Okay, I love the whole Weasley family. If they want to adopt me, I'm fine with that.
I just like the Weasley house, to be honest with you. That whole Weasley house is really, really cool.
You know, I noticed it more in the book than in the movie, but when I was reading the book, I really noticed that George and Fred, they're the complete 180 of Harry Potter, where he's isolated and he's alone, and everything he does is self-reliant. And then there's Fred and George, who are twins. They've never been alone. I mean, they're basically the embodiment of joyful love, where Harry is just complete solitude. And it's going to be fun to watch those characters grow reading going forward. Right.
Yeah. And also, I think the way that they portray the two twins that portray them in the movie, that they do a good job as well portraying them and just joking around and just having fun as well.
Yeah.
What do you think of Jenny? Even though that you don't get to see Jenny until the second book, but what do you think of Jenny? I mean, in the first book, she was like a little shy, and she kind of knew who Harry was, but didn't really know who Harry was.
You know, she was just kind of there in the book.
Right.
She was, I mean, I noticed she's a great character later on, but it's funny in this first one, she's there, and you know they're setting her up for later on.
Right. And what did you think of them when Harry first meets Draco at the staircase going into the Great Hall versus when he meets him at the shop getting the ropes? What did you think of that about the movie?
I thought it was a nice bookend, and not in like ending kind of a way, but this is how our relationship is always going to be, no matter what.
Right. I like Harry and Draco's relationship. They're frenemies, but I think they have kind of like that common ground that they understand each other, I think.
Yeah. Actually, I had the thought when I was reading the book, what if instead of the Dursleys, who I have to say are the characters I hate more than anybody in fiction? I hate the Dursleys more than any... Worse than Miss Hartigan. They are the worst people. But what if instead of taking him to his aunt and uncle, what if they dropped him off at the Malfoy house to be raised alongside Draco? What would Harry Potter have been?
I don't know. I think Harry would have been more like the Malfoys, maybe a little bit more standoffish.
Yeah, I was thinking he would probably get motherly love from Narcissa and just a weird stepdad vibe
from a Lucius.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think so there's this theory that I read that the reason why the Dursleys were mad was because they were cursed with that one curse that can make you like evil, like the one curse that can make you like mad or whatever. I forget what the curse is called. And so there's a theory that they're actually Horcruxes.
Oh, okay. I could totally see that because in the movie, you really don't like them. But then in the book, you really hate these people.
Right. So there's a fan theory about them being a Horcrux.
I totally can see that, where they're just they're turned mean by what's inside them. Yeah.
Because in the Philosopher's Stone or the Sorcerer's Stone, he's left on their doorstep. So somewhere in between there, when Dumbledore, Hagrid, and McGonagall leave him into the drop. I'm sorry, I can't talk. Drop them off.
It's Tuesday night. I'm gonna stumble over a lot of words. Don't feel bad.
So they drop him off at the doorstep. Maybe another witch before they came. Dumbledore didn't know, but McGonagall was there all day, so she could have been like somewhere else or something at the time, and that somebody could have went and put a curse on them.
Yeah, because that's something I noticed in the book, that there's 12 hours from the time James and Lily are killed to the time that Harry's dropped off at Privet Drive. So there's this whole half day where anything could have happened. Right,
because you remember when Dumbledore comes and McGonagall's transfigured into the cat, he's like, I should known you would be here, Professor McGonagall. When he's taking the lights out or whatever with his wand or whatever that thing is.
I want that device. I don't care what it is.
The light device.
I want to be able to turn lights on and off at will, just anywhere at random.
Right. That's so cool. I was like, that's really cool. That's a really cool trick. What is one of your favorite parts of the book or the movie? Do you have a favorite scene?
You know what? There is, and it's. I really noticed it more in the book, and it really made me look at these two characters and kind of the world through their eyes. And it's when Hermione and Harry are both on the train to Hogwarts for the first time. Mm-hmm. And for her, she's a Muggle-born person, but they're both entering this. They're both 11 years old. They're both entering this new environment, alone, out in the woods, placed unsupervised on a train to undergo a series of tasks that no one has ever explained to them. These poor kids. Mm-hmm. It's not just going away to school. It's going, by the way, you're something you didn't think you were, and here's a whole bunch of new expectations. Good luck.
Yes, exactly. I also like when they first meet on the train, and Harry's like, Harry technically met Ron when he was looking for a platform 3 9/4, and asked Molly Weasley how to get onto the platform because of all the Muggles that were there. And then Ron sees that it's Harry Potter, and he's like, "You're Harry Potter," And then the trolley comes with all the treats, and I thought that was pretty funny. He goes and holds out the money, and he goes, "I'll take a lot." I thought that was so funny because it was like he never seen like candy or treats before or something.
Yeah, there was something else I noticed too, was like food kind of tracks Harry's journey to opening up to people, because he starts out so malnourished. Like he gets his first birthday cake from Hagrid, but like every step of the way, they do this in the book where he's always, food is associated with joy, and so.
Right. I thought that was funny though that Hagrid turned Dudley into a pig, like gave him a pig's tail.
I thought I should have made it permanent.
Yeah. And then I remember at the end of the movie he was like, if the Dudley does anything, you could give him a pair of ears. I thought that was funny. You know, and also one of my favorite parts is when they're late for Transfiguration class, and Professor McGonagall's a cat, and they're running. Harry and Ron are running, and they go into there, and they're talking about Professor McGonagall like she's not even there, and she goes, "Mr. Weasley, Mr. Potter, should I transfigure you into a pocket watch so maybe one of you would be on time?"
I love Maggie Smith.
I like her too. She's such a great actress.
It was so hard not like seeing the actors' faces and voices when reading the book.
Oh yes, that was hard for me too.
Like anytime I read her line, I heard it in her voice.
Right. Yeah, I like her. She does really good acting. I really liked her in Hook. She was in Hook, and I really liked her in Doubting Abbey. I don't know if you ever seen that one.
I've seen bits and pieces. One of these days, I'm gonna get around to watching it.
Yeah, it was good. But there's so many great actors in this movie. Like, I also like the guy that plays Flickwick. That's how you say his name, I think. He was the guy that played in the Leprechaun movies.
Yeah, I was jumping a who's who of British actors at the time.
Yeah,
I was so happy to see John Hurt again because I forgot he was in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and later on, one of my favorite characters. Well, he's kind of one of my favorite characters, but he becomes in the Goblet of Fire, which is David Tennant, and he plays Buddy Crouch Jr.
Yes,
and he's one of my favorite characters, Buddy Crouch Jr. Just because David Tennant did a good job playing him, and I thought it was funny how he took a Polyjuice potion and became Mad Eye Moody.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and I'll be honest, I love David Tennant. He's my favorite actor of anything at all. So anywhere he shows up, I'll watch it.
Right. But at first, I didn't realize that it was him when they had him. But yeah, there's so many in the whole like Harry Potter like universe movies. There's so many good actors and actresses.
It's funny to think like if they remade the movies in 40 years' time, who from today would be playing the old people in the movie?
I actually did a Facebook poll on Popping the Popcorn, I'll tell you. So I asked everybody on Popping the Popcorn what was their favorite Harry Potter movie. So the winner is Prisoner of Azkaban with 5 votes. Then it is Goblet of Fire with 4 votes. Then it's the Sorcerer's Stone or the Philosopher's Stone with 3 votes. The Chamber of Secrets with 3 votes. The Half-Blood Prince with 2 votes. And the Order of Phoenix with 1 vote. And the Deathly Hallows with 1 vote.
You know what? I forgot to vote. Sorry. But
okay.
Mine is also Prisoner of Azkaban.
Okay.
And Gary Oldman is the answer.
Right. My favorite is the Half-Blood Prince because I like Snape, and Snape's my favorite character in the Harry Potter world. I mean, like, I like other characters as well, but we find out who Snape is really in the Half-Blood Prince. Yeah. That's the only reason why I like Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
It's funny because because I've really tried to detach myself books from movies, and I've done myself a disservice knowing how his story is because he was already a cool character, but he's become my favorite character by default because I'm just looking for all the clues or any little things that J.K. placed along the way.
Right. So what do you think of Quidditch? What do you think of that game?
I'm still trying to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I need someone to explain. I need a Quidditch for dummies. But it's cool. It's soccer on broomsticks.
So there's 2 beaters, there's 2 chasers, and there's somebody guarding the goal, and then there's somebody that chases the golden snitch. I think that's right. And so basically they fly around on broomsticks trying to get the goal, and you have to watch out for these balls because otherwise the balls will knock you off your broom and then you'll have to go into the hospital wing.
Yeah, when you fall from that height, to be totally honest, I am not a sports person. I don't get sports ball at all.
I don't either.
I work in sports. That's the terrible thing.
Right. The only sport that I really get is baseball and hockey, so there you go.
And my brain's just not wired. It just doesn't get it. It doesn't compute.
Right. So, what do you think of the wizard's chest? What do you think of that?
I like it. I have questions.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like, I think it's almost like regular chest almost, but a little different, I think.
I don't remember them doing it in the film, but I really wish there was like a diagram, because I kept trying to. I'm such a nerd. I kept picturing 3D chess from Star Trek.
Oh yeah.
And so I need a diagram of how it actually works.
I also like the director of the first movie as well. It's Christopher Columbus, and he's directed like a lot of good movies. Like one of my favorite holiday one is Home Alone. He directed that one, and he's directed like a lot of different movies like that. And he's a really good director, and like how he put like all his like work into like making Harry Potter come to life.
It was a huge task because when you read it, you picture it one way, and for them to create a universal, no pun intended, version that we all can agree on, I thought that was a heck of a feat.
Right. Also, I didn't know this, but Percy Jackson, he directed, Christopher Columbus directed that one too, the first Percy Jackson movie. And I was thinking like the house he made them kind of like similar to Harry Potter type of thing when you go into the house. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. I thought that was interesting.
Makes you wonder though, was there ever a time he was mad at his parents for naming him Christopher Columbus?
I don't know. I have no clue. But yeah, so what do you think of when they had to go into the devil's snare and all that? What do you think about that?
I dug it. Again, I've gone full on it my toe now that we're doing this. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm usually so much more on top of it.
It's okay. So I was watching a Carlin's Brother episode. They're a really good YouTube podcast.
You introduced me to them. I've been watching them.
Yes, they're really cool. They know their stuff about Harry Potter, Disney, and all kinds of different fandoms. And earlier today, I was watching an episode, and these were just like theories that they were talking about. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about when Harry, Ron, and Hermione dropped into the devil's snare, that they actually dropped all the way down, like 1,000 feet down to like where they dropped down to, because the devil's snare was like huge.
Yeah.
So they were doing a theory on it, like how far did they actually drop down? And they were like, I forget what Jay said on there, but he said it was like a couple 100 feet that they dropped.
That's how you know it's about magic, because our decks would have been broken.
Yes, exactly. And also they were saying, did the Philosopher's Stone or the Sorcerer's Stone, did it set up the rest of the movies? That was their theory today on their episode that they had. What?
I can see it because it seemed a little too easy at the end. Like it was a source of power that it was going to lead him in that direction.
I agree. And so like, with him getting the key and going to where the wizard chessboard was and stuff like that, some of those events were leading up to the Deathly Hallows.
Yeah. And it was funny because it was that scene with the three of them. That's when I realized the theme of this is we're stronger together.
right? What do you think of Fluffy the dog?
I love Fluffy. I'm a dog person anyway, so it could be a 5-headed dog, and I would love it.
Right? What do you think of Professor Quill? What do you think of him?
Don't trust him.
Yeah, we all know not to trust him because he's not actually he's not actually somebody that like has a lisp. He just talks normal.
Yeah.
We find that out. What do you think of Harry getting the invisibility cloak?
It's one of my favorite scenes in the whole book. It's where Snape's got, they're attending to his wound, and he's got his cloak up over his ankles, his knees, and he's just being so foul.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. And then I also like how Dumbledore knows that they're sneaking around the school. He must know this. Yeah.
There's no way him and all the professors, they all have to know what they're doing. And they're just letting him get away with it because it's Harry Potter. Right,
because he's the famous wizard that everybody knows. What do you think of Neville? Do you like Neville?
I love this character. He actually, by the end of the movies, he became one of my favorites. So, again, with the books, I can't wait to see how this character develops.
Neville's like one of those characters that you want, that he's the underdog.
See, I totally Neville was my spirit animal in the movies because I was a nerdy underdog who grew up hot that could win a fight,
So what house are you in on Pottermore? Did you take the test?
I am a Ravenclaw.
Okay, and I'm a Gryffindor. Do you know what your Patronus is?
I have not yet.
Okay, I am this, it's called a Benghazi. It's like a dog that races. So they're loyal and they quiet people to break them out of their shell. And they say that the Benghazi's very energetic. So I'm a fast dog. That's my Patronus. I thought that was funny. I was like, okay, that's interesting. And I'm a Gryffindor, so I'm loyal already. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm loyal both ways. I don't know.
I honestly thought, because I'm just a goofy person, I was going to be a Hufflepuff, but I took the test. And it did the Ravenclaw traits, and I went, yes, 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 and yes. And then I looked at one that was admirable and horrible traits of Ravenclaws, and I went, oh, God, yes to all.
Right? Yeah. I guess there's traits in all the different houses, like Slytherin. Everybody thinks Slytherin's bad, but actually Slytherin's not really bad.
Yeah, there's some great people that come out of Slytherin.
And I mean, there's great people that come out of every house, but I think it depends on what journey you are through Hogwarts and your school year and stuff like that. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and it's who the person is too. I mean, just because Draco was Slytherin, he didn't have to be such a horrible little snot the whole time.
I think what it is his dad had something to do with that, because his mom's his mom is actually not that bad of a person.
And see, that's what some people have told me is because I'm going to the book journey now. They said watch Narcissa. She's going to be one of your favorite characters.
Yes, she's one of my favorite characters, and also I really like Bellatrix. Even though that a lot of people don't like Bellatrix, I actually like her. You'll find out in the other series of Bellatrix, but I actually like her, and that's her sister.
Yeah, I'm really curious because I love Helena Bonham Carter, so she can do no wrong in any movie. It's gonna be curious when she comes into the books. Am I going to truly hate this character? Or am I going to do I give her a pass because it's an actress I've always loved?
Right. She plays Bellatrix so well. She's not introduced until The Prisoner of Azkaban, but she plays that character so well. And she's just so good.
Yeah, another one, I can't picture anybody else playing that character.
Yeah, she's really good. Do you have a favorite wand that you like? Between all the wands that you've seen, do you have a favorite wand that you've seen?
I don't have a favorite one I've seen yet. Um, this is something that stuck out to me in the book, and it just kind of made me giggle when Harry's at Ollivander's, and it's all the adjectives she uses to describe wands. Blendable, bendable, pliable, squiggly, jumpy. Just all these just ridiculous, just these very silly, fun adjectives like, what is a pliable wand? What is a springy wand?
It's like a slinky to go break.
Yeah, it left so much to the imagination that it just kind of made me laugh reading that chapter.
Right. And I also like the part when Harry is in the potions and he's actually writing down what Snape says, and Snape doesn't think he's paying attention to him. And I just think that's so funny. And he's like, "What do we have here?" And he's like, "Clearly you don't know everything."
That was me in school, because I was just writing down what the teacher was saying while I had a conversation.
Right.
So they couldn't yell at me.
Right. And I just thought that was funny, though, because Snape never caught on that he was actually writing down what Snape was saying. And I just think Snape had to make sure he was, like, paying attention, I think.
Yeah, he had to be like the he had to be like an uncle, kind of like the bad uncle, to keep an eye on him.
Right. Exactly. And
like like in a way he had to do the discipline for James and Lily.
Right, exactly, because the Dursleys didn't really discipline him. The Dursleys just put him in the cupboard under the stairs.
Did I mention I hate the Dursleys more than anybody else in fiction?
Mm-hmm. What did you think of the snake scene when they're at the zoo?
Okay, that they kind of gave me a chill, because I hadn't seen the movie in a while. Mm-hmm. And to see this sweet little boy talking to a snake, just like there was the goosebumps, because this is not right.
Right.
This little boy, stop talking to the snake.
And he didn't know that was actually a bad thing to talk to snakes at that time. And you don't find out until Chamber of Secrets that it's called Parseltongue. Yeah.
And I'm not snakeist in it anyway, go snakes, but there was just something so wrong about this little dude talking, this adorable little boy talking to a snake. It just it just felt wrong. Right.
I also like the part when Draco goes, when they're in the Great Hall and they're meeting for the first time, and Draco goes, you need to there's some wizarding families that are better than some. You need to make friends or whatever. And he's like, I can make my own sort for myself, thank you. I thought that was like, go Harry, go. Yeah. I was just
that goes back to the whole theme of like, we are stronger together, and relationships are who we are.
And I like also the fact that when Neville got the Remembrald, and Draco wanted to get it from him, and he just takes it from him and goes, let's just put this on the roof, and Harry Potter goes after him. And I was like, you go, Harry.
Harry, mind your own business.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Harry doesn't know how to mind his own business. I think because he's so sheltered, he doesn't know how to mind his own business, I think.
Yeah, and that's looking, again, having seen it a long time and now reading it, like that's what I really took out of this first story, was like, this is someone who has to learn to feel love for the first time. Right. Like this whole book is this gradual change. It takes him the entire book, to feel love, and to give love, and to be in a family, and to be accepted.
Right, and I think Dumbledore also plays like his grandpa like type of role because he doesn't really have anything like that. And so Snape's like the uncle, like being like like telling him, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that, and then like the troll in the bathroom where Snape takes points from him, or McGonagall takes points from them. I forget who it was, but Snape's like looking at him like, you really just killed a troll in your first year, like looking at him like, whoa.
And that's where I kind of wish I had read the books before I saw the movies, because they are playing good cop, bad cop in Harry's upbringing. Mm-hmm. and I see it because I know how the story ends. So it would have been fun to be taken by surprise, but that was something I noticed in reading was like you see it from good cop, bad cop. They're helping their friend's kid, raise their friend's kid.
Right. Okay, so here goes a Mount Rushmore for you. Four items. So who are your favorite character? Who are your top 4 favorite characters?
Okay, my top 4 are going to be from this story are going to be Hermione, are going to be Snape, are going to be Harry himself, and it's going to be Hagrid. We didn't talk about Hagrid. I love Hagrid.
We can talk about him too.
I'll just say pink umbrella all the way.
Yeah, his umbrella's a wand. I think that's so cool. His umbrella's a wand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like Hagrid kind of just like drags like Harry along and goes, I shouldn't have told you these things that Harry's actually doing and stuff like that.
Snape is the bad uncle. Hagrid is the goofy uncle.
Yes, he is. So here's my top 4 favorite characters. So Snape's number 1. I just really like him. He's my favorite character out of the whole Harry Potter series just because of who he is as a person. And we all think in the first one he's like this evil person, but he's not really an evil person. Number 2 is Harry. I just like Harry just because of how humble he is and just how powerful he is. My second favorite is my third favorite is Hagrid. And my 4th favorite is Hermione just because she's so smart and she's a girl. And there needs to be more girl power.
Yeah. And it's I always feel bad for that character, that like lone female character, because she has to carry the weight for the whole female audience, and that's just not right.
Right. And she's the only one out of all 3 of them that's a girl.
Yeah, and some of the criticism I see online of her is, well, she's too bossy. It's like, I don't like hearing that at work. Don't say it about fictional characters.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, so going back to Hagrid. Hagrid's one of my favorite characters as well. He's like in my top 5, even though that we did a top 4, but he's in my top 5. I just like Hagrid just because he has like all these different like creatures and stuff like that. And he's just really cool, even though that he's the gamekeeper, the groundskeeper of Hogwarts.
Kind of think of him as like Harry's hippie uncle.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. So what do you think of Hagrid's hut? What do you think of that?
I love it. It sounds like a perfect vacation home, actually.
Right? Yeah, and I also like how it's like he's like a half giant. I forget what he is. He's a half giant and something else mixed. And I just think he's really like a unique like person, but I like his hut, and I also like his dog Fang. His dog's so cute.
I love it in this world of like scary witches and good witches. There's just this one character who's just like this big lovable puppy.
Right? Yeah, me too. And Hagrid, and I just like how Hagrid's like telling Harry along like how to put Fluffy to sleep, and he's like, I shouldn't have told you that, and stuff like that, and how he has a dragon. I was like, where did he get a dragon from?
I don't know, but I want one.
Right? Don't we all want a dragon?
I don't like my neighbors. I want a dragon.
Right? And then I also like when they go into the dark forest and Malfoy's like, we're not supposed to be here, and they all because they were all sneaking out, they got in trouble by McGonagall.
Yeah, that was one thing I didn't understand. Their punishment for sneaking out was to sneak out into an even more dangerous place. And then split them up. Right.
And Dumbledore also said don't go in the Forbidden Forest. And what did they do? For their punishment, they went in the Forbidden Forest.
I kept thinking of the Donald Duck cartoon where the nephews buy him a box of cigars, but he thinks they're smoking, so he makes them smoke all the cigars.
Right. That's funny. And so this is the first encounter Harry has with Voldemort because he's drinking unicorn blood. So what did you think of that encounter?
I like the setup. I actually had thought to myself, maybe they should have saved this for the second book. Maybe they didn't need to introduce Voldemort right away. Maybe he should have just been a name or a whisper. and then actually have that interaction early on in the next story. I thought it was. For me, it felt a little too soon. He should have just been a whisper, that scared everyone.
Right, and then the half human, half horse comes. The centaur comes and tells Harry to tells Harry he's safe now, and he kind of shoot off Voldemort. He's actually a really cool character. You find out him more later on in the books. He's not really in the movie, only the first movie, but you find him out later on in the book because he actually I'm not going to tell you, but he actually does end up going to Hogwarts, but it's really cool.
Okay, yeah, don't tell me, because I thought it was a really neat character interaction, and then he disappeared. I was like, well, we'll never see him again.
Yeah, he doesn't show back up in the movies. He's in the books, but he doesn't show back up in the movies. And he's
kind of a shame with like the movie they didn't like film all the extra stuff and just have it on the side, so you could choose choose an option to watch it full or watch it cut.
Yeah, I wish they would do something like that, like Lord of the Rings, like how they have the 4 hour thing, the cutted version that's 4 hours instead of 2 hours. I wish they would do something like that with Harry Potter, because I'm such a huge Harry Potter fan, but I'm like, what do you do after you read all the books and the movies? Plus, there's the Fantastic Beasts movies and the books, too.
Yeah, I haven't got there yet. I saw the first Fantastic Beasts movie on a plane, so I have to actually watch it for reals.
The second one's okay. I just don't like Johnny Depp's character. He plays Griswold. I just don't like his character. I mean, like, I like Johnny Depp as a person, but just the way I don't think in the movie he was going to be. I don't think he really wanted to do the role. That's what I got from it.
At this point, too, with Johnny Depp, I mean, we all love Johnny Depp, but it's kind of at the point where we've all seen his tricks now.
Right.
Like, there's nothing new you can offer us.
Right, exactly. He plays almost the same character, almost just about. Yeah. I think. Johnny, you need to get with the program, I guess.
That's a discussion we have to do one day, is like, Jack Sparrow, his greatest character, did it ruin him?
Yeah, we should do that one day. We'll have to do a Johnny Depp episode one day.
Yeah, before and after Jack Sparrow, and like, how did that impact?
Right?
Did that speed up his career?
Right? Exactly. Yeah, we need to do an episode like that. I would be down for that. But yeah, so what did you think when Harry Potter found the Mara Erised? What did you think?
Okay, honestly, I don't remember that part. I'm sorry. Told you, I'm so sorry. I waited full. Okay. Now that we're recording it, I fully got Memento, that movie where he can't remember anything after 15 minutes.
That happens to me sometimes. So the Mara of Erised's the one where he sees his parents. He uses the invisibility cloak, and he sees his parents.
I thought that was just mean. I really did. I just thought that was mean. You didn't need to see them.
I think what the Mara of Erised does is it shows you what you want the most. Because don't forget, Ron comes back and sees him as houseboy, and he plays on the Quidditch team.
Yeah.
When Ron goes to see
I really thought about that, because if I was offered to look to see what I really want, I don't know if I'd want to see it, because maybe it's something I don't think I want. Maybe it's something would change. Like, maybe it was so life altering, I don't want to see it.
Right, exactly. Like, if you could, what would, like, if you could see yourself, I don't know if I would want that, because I don't want to know what the future is. Yeah. I don't think I would want to know what my future would look like.
Or like seeing a parallel version of yourself from a parallel Earth where, that me has a way better life.
Right.
I suck.
Like, that better me's famous. Yeah. I want to be famous.
I want to be famous, just rich.
Right? Exactly. So what do you think of Nicholas Flamel that lived, like, the longest, like, life? What do you think?
Slightly jealous, actually.
He's, like, immortal because of the Sorcerer's Stone or the Philosopher's Stone.
I wouldn't want to be immortal. That would be boring. A couple hundred years would be great.
Right? there's actually a theory that, after the Deathly Hallows, that Harry Potter is actually immortal because once he essentially died in the Deathly Hallows, and then because him or Voldemort had to die.
Yeah.
And so there's a theory that now that Harry Potter is just a single entity, that he is immortal. There's a theory on it.
Oh, that would suck. I would not want to be immortal. That's a good theory, but poor Harry. I would not want to curse this person who grew up so lonely, who had to accept love.
Right.
To learn to accept love, to then only watch everyone he's ever loved die over and over again, because then he'd go back to being just a lonely person. No, don't do that to Harry. That would break him. He'd become Voldemort in the end. Right.
So what do you think of Professor Quill hiding Voldemort behind his head the whole time?
Ooh, gross was my first thought. Again, no, I thought Voldemort shouldn't have shown up in the first book at all, or first movie at all. I would just like to have heard about him, but never seen him. For me personally, it just didn't need to be there.
I agree. Because, when Harry is eating with Hagrid and the Leaky Cauldron and they're having soup, and Hagrid's telling him the story about how Voldemort became Voldemort because of Harry, because of Lily's love for Harry, and that's why Professor Quill couldn't touch Harry at all, because he would turn to stone because of Lily's love. And he's like, his name shall not be spoken here, Hagrid says. And everybody's so afraid to say Voldemort. What do you think of that?
I did wonder about that. If he touched him and he turned to stone, would Voldemort also turn to stone?
Well, you saw...
This whole series could have been ended by an accident. All Harry had to do was turn a corner and touch Quill by accident. And if they're both gone, story's over. Happily ever after.
Right. So I don't know if he touched Voldemort, in the end of this one, you see that Quill. Hello. Oh, did you just freeze?
Am I here?
Yeah, you're here now. Yeah, you just froze. I was like, hello.
I do my little chair dance so people can see if I froze.
I think if Voldemort was in a human form, because don't forget, he has to live on unicorn blood and other people, because he's more like an entity, like a ghost, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Maybe. Like a ghost.
Like a parasite, like a ghost parasite.
Yes. And so I think if he was in human form and Harry didn't know who Voldemort was in human form, I think if he would have touched Harry, or Harry would have touched him, he would have turned to stone, I think.
Okay, somebody needs to write a fan fiction where it's all over after chapter 3 because he accidentally touches Quill.
Yes.
And then the rest of the 8 books without Voldemort, someone write that fan fiction for me.
Right? What would happen without a world without Voldemort? Would Harry turn out the way he turned out? Or would Harry turn out different?
Harry'd be rich and young and just loving life.
We may never know. Well, he is rich, though, because his parents left him a lot of money.
I mean, he'd have no worries. He wouldn't have to do anything. He'd just be, young and rich. He'd probably leave Hogwarts, move to Bermuda.
Right? I also wish they would went in more depth about their parents, not even the books go more into depth about his parents, but I wish they would have gone more into depth about their parents. What did they do for work? What is this? What is that? Yeah,
I thought there was going to be more about James and Lily in this first book than there was. It really left it open. At what point are we going to learn about his parents and how that whole story happened?
You only learn a little bit. You don't learn anything else. But I did see, I'll have to send it to you. There is a timeline of when each character was born, and this dates back to the 1900s. This timeline that I found. I'll have to send it to you.
Okay.
And so it's saying that Harry was actually born in the 80s, and I was like, wait, how is that possible? And then it was saying Snape was born in the 70s, and I was like, that's interesting. You know, I think it's a fan fiction like
Oh my
timeline
God,
type
Snape.
thing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like I was like, I found that interesting, and they were saying that actually Hermione was born before Harry and Ron, because she was so Harry and Ron were born in 81, and they were saying Hermione was born in 80, but I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense if they're in the same year.
I'm not gonna lie, the dates were making me feel old. That this was happening in like '96. I'm like, I turned 21 in '96. Don't
Right.
Stop making me feel old.
Right? But yeah, I was just like, that's interesting though. It's a timeline. I think it's a fan fiction timeline.
Because the movies, I know they said take place in like the last one takes place in '99. So,
right.
I mean, the first one starts in '92. It's just weird because that's when I was in high school.
Right.
I'm gonna go shuffle off and die now. Excuse me.
Right. Well, I was in '92. I was only 5 years old. So there you go.
I was a sophomore.
You know, because I was born in 1986. So.
Okay, my sister was born in '83.
Okay, so she's a couple years older than me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just found the timeline that I found was interesting because it was dating back to like actually Dumbledore's like 300, 400 years old.
Yeah.
It's like dating back to like that time.
It was just funny because when you usually read these kind of stories, they take place in olden timey times, you know, and to have it, it's such a recent. Like we lived through that time not long ago. It definitely affects the way you read the story.
Right, and Harry Potter's supposed to be in modern time, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I just found it, and it's
like Harry Potter. Like if this is true in the '90s, he would have a Tamagotchi and a Discman.
Right. Can you imagine the English in the '90s? They probably had the same stuff we had.
Yeah. Doctor Who was still on hiatus, but oh god, sorry.
We all know you're a big Doctor Who fan. Well,
I know. I somehow drop
do.
it into everything. Yeah, my friends and family have accepted Doctor Who as like a lifestyle choice for me. So
right. Well, David Tennant's Doctor Who, and he's in the Harry Potter franchise.
I know it's he plays. He's so weird when he does that character.
Which character?
When he does the Barney Scratch.
Barney Crouch Jr.
Barney Crouch, thank you. See, I told you I'm full on toe.
Jason, I love you. You're so much fun.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But yeah, well, when he's playing that character, he kind of has like, I don't know, his mouth's like weird.
Yeah, I just think it's funny that I haven't got to this part in the book series yet, obviously, but I saw a meme that showed his character appeared in a chapter called Parting of the Ways in the books, and his doctor, he shows up as the doctor in the episode The Parting of the Ways. See, I can turn anything Doctor Who.
That's interesting though. That's really interesting, you know. But we all love David Tennant. He's such a good actor. He's also good in that Good Omens.
I've only seen the first episode. I've got to finish it.
And it also has the guy that plays he plays in The Hobbit. He's the Hobbit.
Yeah, Michael Sheen.
Yeah.
They're like really good friends in real life.
And doesn't yeah, and also I think he played in Doctor Who too. He played in an episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah, he's up. People want him for the next Doctor.
Do they?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
We're going off on a side tangent about Doctor Who.
Sorry.
It's okay.
If you hang out with me long enough, like it all goes back to Doctor Who somehow.
It's okay. Hey.
Listeners, if you hang out with me in real life, I will force Doctor Who upon you. I'm so sorry.
Well, I've never seen the original episodes. You know how there's...
Oh, you see, you gotta go back and watch them. They're all... What I love about it is it's all the same story.
I have not seen like the older ones from like the 70s or the 60s.
Oh, start at the very beginning.
I can't find it anywhere.
Do you have BritBox or Amazon?
I have Amazon.
Okay. They have it on Amazon Prime, the original series.
Oh, okay. I'll have to watch it then. Because I'm watching the season with that weird doctor that I don't like. The first one. The first season of the newer version of it.
Right, Christopher Eccleston, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like him.
They're all my favorite. I don't care what face the doctor is on. It's all the same. So I'm going to stop. Before I hijack this.
We'll do a Doctor Who episode.
Okay, cool.
And I'll ask you all kinds of Doctor Who questions.
I will answer everyone because it's like Aladdin's cave to me. There's always something new, so I'm always grabbing at it.
Right? But I also saw Twitchwood is on HBO Max too.
Torchwood, so I'm gonna yes. Oh.
So I'm gonna watch Doctor Who and then I'm gonna watch Twitchwood.
Torchwood is I am also obsessed with Torchwood. I am a walking Torchwood encyclopedia. So if you have any questions, let me know.
I will. So yeah, so even though that we go on side tangents, that's okay. That's what this podcast is about. All kinds of different fandoms, I guess you can say. But
plus,
hey,
if you hang out with me long enough, I will eventually turn the conversation to Doctor Who. I do it to everybody. I'm sorry, listeners.
It's all good. Hey, there are some listeners that do like Doctor Who, so there you go. Hey, but everybody knows that I'm huge. Everybody knows that I'm a huge Disney fan too. So yeah. Hey,
I'm just getting into Harry Potter for the first time, really. So I'm glad you're here for me as I explore this world fully.
Of course, yeah. Any questions you have, I'll be ready to answer. And then we can also do, once you finish the second book, we could do another episode on the second book. So
yes,
this will be like a mini series for you guys. We'll do each book, and I'll also read it with you and watch the movie with you, so that way we can compare notes and stuff like that.
Awesome. And I promise, guys, I won't be so memento next time.
Hey, it happens. Sometimes when I'm on here, I stutter so much, or I say because sometimes I forget what I'm saying. So don't feel bad.
We all do. Don't ever feel bad about it. See, I just did it. But with like our show, like we have the luxury of I can go in and take them out. So
I don't.
It's when you go in and cut them out that you realize how much everybody, yourself included, says it within a 1 hour span.
Right. Yeah. As everybody knows, like my fans know, I don't know how to edit. So guess what? Whatever happens is in there. Like me or you don't like me. Take me as I am.
My attitude has always been, if you don't like it, go to the podcasting box office for a full refund.
That's funny. That's pretty funny. Well, I had a great time doing this episode with you, Jay. Where can everybody find you?
I am Skipper Jay on the Grand Circle Tour podcast. You can Apple, iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere you find podcasts, you can find us. We're a weekly Disney podcast show about all Disney parks, but mostly the American ones. And you can find me on Facebook. I really don't have Instagram or Twitter. So just Jason Tomlinson on Facebook. But Grand Circle Tour Magic Ticket Holders on Facebook and Instagram.
And I hang out there a lot too. So
yes,
if you guys ever go on there, you'll see me on there.
Come hang out with us. We are constantly posting fun stuff.
And you guys know where to find me. You can find me on Facebook, Popping the Popcorn, or you can find me on Instagram, Popping the Popcorn. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Have a good night, everybody. Talk to you later. And always be kind to each other. Bye.
Thank you.